And you mentioned kind of wrapping up the shapes I'm in. So what's next? What you got?
Oh, man. I am very excited about whatever is next. I don't have it all figured out.
All right.
But I do know that for the past, ever since I started putting out recorded music, I've sort of just wanted to write, like for records, I've wanted to write just like the best songs I could. And it always kind of ended, I love what I've made, but it always kind of ended up as like a smorgasbord of songs and then like put them all together and it's an album.
Okay.
Which I will say for the shapes I'm in, that was the goal. Like the goal was to have different genres and different eras and hopefully it all felt cohesive because it's me. But I think for at least the next project, I want to make like a classic, not necessarily like sonically classic, but like the way albums, the albums that people put on just to like listen to because they all sound the same. Like the songs fit sonically.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel kind of crazy when I talk about it because in my brain, my albums feel really like disconnected.
Okay.
And sometimes people will be like, no, I think it's like, since it's you, it all feels like an album. But like when I think about my songs individually, they're kind of like, yeah, they fit on the record, but it's not like I was like, I'm going to do this and this, and that's going to be the thing the whole way through the record. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, well, you're the like creator, you're the curator of it. So, you know things and things make you feel things differently than people who just listen to it. I mean, I totally understand it. You could have something that other people think is a super cohesive front to back, and you're like, no, because X, Y, and Z. Like, I totally understand that.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, I'm trying to like really tune in to like what my inspirations and influences really are and like kind of like just dig out what is me, like what am I? And for the next record, it's going to be, I haven't really, so I kind of started, I loved like classic soul music in high school and into college a little bit. And then
Where did you go to school for college?
I went to Belmont.
Oh, nice.
In Nashville.
Nice.
And so I just like, I kind of went in and out with soul music. Like in high school and early college, I was like, that's exactly the kind of records I want to make. Those are like, those records are the ones that speak to my soul. And then over the like past 4 or 5 years, I've kind of fallen out of love with like the soul sound.
Okay.
But it's back. I feel it feels like natural to me again.
Wow.
And my goal for the next record is to somehow merge. Basically, when I fell out of love with soul, I fell in love with country.
Interesting.
And now it's like 60s country, like Glenn Campbell was like my thing.
Love that.
I was like I was obsessed with it. When I first heard Wichita Lineman, I was like, what is this? I can't imagine hearing that song in the 1960s when it came out because it sounds like otherworldly now. I can geek on that forever.
No, but I feel that. I mean, I'm not too well versed in his catalog. I do know, obviously, Southern Nights, and I know that you do a great cover of that. But I feel you, like it is, when you say country, it's a totally different realm of country.
Yeah, I actually enjoy lots of country, but my favorite is like crooner country. Mm-hmm. And somewhat mixed with soul. So that's the goal for the next record is like, how do I make what feels so natural to me when I listen to that kind of music? How do I make it modern? How do I make it fit in 2022? Or even make a record that, sounds like 2024. So when people actually hear it, it's like, oh, this feels like right now.
So do you think you're challenging yourself, or do you like it's in there and you're just waiting for it to come out?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know. I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
I feel like you have to challenge yourself for like the insides to come out.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of both. I think I feel really open to whatever it is. I feel like maybe in the past I was really trying to prove something. Like, I can write this kind of song and I can write this kind of song. And with this project, I'm just like, whatever's inside me, come out, please.
Yeah. I mean, and you also have so much success now to back you up where it's like, I hope that you feel that kind of creative liberty where it's like, you've kind of already done the damn thing. Like you can, you be yourself because people they're not going to leave you. Like they clearly like you and your sound and the vibe that you bring.
That's very kind.
That's what they pay me for. No, I kid. But okay, so you mentioned, you kind of fell out with soul, and now you're back into it. Lyrically, like what's inspiring us?
That's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part.
Is lyrically, I do want to incorporate like storytelling country vibes in the soul realm. And it's been done before. Like Glenn Campbell did some of it. All these great artists over time have sort of like blended the two. But to me, I don't hear somebody doing that in a fresh way right now. And I mean, there's definitely like rap and R&B country. There's definitely like that mold happening, but I'm like trying to do like the crooner, like still about the song and like about melody, not necessarily like the rhythm of words. I mean, it always is both. But yeah, I think lyrically it will lean. I'm basically trying to write a country record, but I'm a suburban white guy from I'm not from rural Georgia. I had a pretty typical suburban upbringing, and I love like soft rock. I love all these things. So it's like trying to just make something that feels really natural to me. But I think what I like about the lyricism in country music is they have all these archetypes of songs, like the fishing song. You know what I'm saying? They just have these songs that like play on country radio and you're like, oh, this is that kind of song.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes back to like you asking me if the song's about my wife or not. I think what I realized is I've always done that with songs. I've like started writing and I'll be like, oh, this is that kind of song.
Yeah.
And so if Standing Was Flying, I was writing and I was like, oh, this is like the mountaintop, like bleeding heart song. Let's write that.
Yeah.
And let's write the best version of that we can. And so I think the goal for the next record is like really leaning into those archetypes so you have a record that is fulfilling several different kinds of songs and, across the storyboard and feels cohesive sonically and story-wise.
I feel like that's helpful for the writing process too, to like kind of have an idea before you start the writing.
Yeah, and I think what I realized was those are the kind of songs I like.
Yeah.
And I think what I hope I'm doing is at least zeroing in on something. Like the compass is pointing somewhere. Whereas I feel like the way I was working was like the compass was like rattling all around. And I was just like, oh, let's chase that. Let's chase this. And now it's kind of like, let's at least follow this until we get to the end of the trail. And then that'll go somewhere else.
Hell yeah. I mean, well, I'm super excited. That sounds like
Thanks, man.